The Orlando Magic keep saying all the right things, but words aren't action, and the action ain't happening. The identity crisis the Orlando Magic sit in today on Locked On Magic.
You are Locked On Magic, your daily Orlando Magic podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And you are indeed Locked On Magic. Today is January 22nd. It will be January 23rd, 2026. My name is Philip Rossman-Reich. I'm the senior writer over at OrlandoMagicDaily.com, credentialed member of the Orlando Magic media since the 2012 season, coming to you from the Kia Center. There's a concert going on in the main bowl, so I'm out here in the Disney, or out near the Disney atrium, as the Orlando Magic fall to the Charlotte Hornets 124-97. On today's episode of Locked On Magic, the Magic know what their problems are. They know exactly what they're not doing. So why can't they fix it? The identity problem the Magic are facing, plus how the Magic need their leaders to step up. A challenge to the Orlando Magic coming up here in just a moment. First, we want to thank you again for making Locked On Magic part of your day every day, no matter when you listen to us, whether it's first thing in the morning, whether it's right we upload. We truly appreciate you for making Locked On Magic part of your day every day. We truly appreciate you for being one of our Orlando Magic dailies, our everydayers who listen 5 days a week, who listen for our weekend episodes, who make us part of their regular podcast rotation, who make us their first listen of the day, who are part of our everydayer club. We want to thank you for making the Locked On Magic community such a great, great, great community. And for those of you who have helped make the Locked On Podcast Network the #1 sports podcast network, it's your team every day. Today's episode of Locked On Magic is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Over the last 2 days, we have talked to the Magic. They're back from Europe. They're practicing a little bit. They got some days off, a chance to reset, refresh, get ready for a huge stretch of games that start with a more difficult than it looks game against the Charlotte Hornets, a team that, by the way, ran them off the court a little less than a month ago, the day after Christmas. Jamal Mosley at that point said, we've got to start better. We were trailing by 15 points at the end of the first quarter in Berlin to the Grizzlies. We're down 16 to the Grizzlies in the game in London. And this Hornets team scored 38 on us and ran us out of the building before the game started. Or at the end of the first quarter, by the time the game started, it was over. There were plenty of reminders and plenty of things for this team to know we've got to be better at this specific thing. They talked to us about it. Mosley made it a point. He doesn't bring something up to the media. He doesn't talk to the media about something that he's not telling his players. He told the media to look at this, to be aware and watch this and say, this is what we're focused on. We could dive into what this all means, but the bottom line is this. All the words, all the statement of, yes, we are going to come out sharper. We're going to come out better. We're going to hit them in the mouth early. None of those words led to action. The Hornets made 9 of 14 threes in the first quarter. Like, okay, maybe they made some tough shots. They made some ridiculously tough threes on their first 2 attempts. But they were 9 of 14 from 3, and guess what? The Magic are going to struggle to hit 9 threes in the game. They got to 12 tonight. They got to 14 tonight. So even in a game when the Magic eventually shot well enough from 3, it did not matter. The Hornets led 35-20 after the first quarter. The game's not over at that point, but it might as well have been. Because the Hornets never let up from there. Leading by as much as 33, leading by 30 at the end of the third quarter. The Magic didn't have fight. And we can debate all we want about the coaching situation, and there's plenty to say about that. But for the first time, for one of the rare times, I don't think this happens. I could probably count in the last 4 years the number of times it's happened on one hand, maybe it bleeding a little bit into the second hand. Jamal Mosley was publicly challenging his team to be better. Sit down and guard your man. Keep your man in front. Stop just saying the right things and do them. Turn the words into action. The Magic know what their problems are. We went into the locker room. We talked to Paolo Banchero after the game. We went to the locker room, talked to Desmond Bane, talked to Mo Wagner, who's played only 3 games. Like, a lot of this isn't on him necessarily. And asked, what needs to change about this team? How do you turn these words into action? And they're like, yeah, we've got to defend better. We got to keep our man in front. We got to guard our yard. We can't let misses. And the Magic shot 41.8% compared to the Hornets shooting 53.8%. We can't let misses take away from our defensive effort. Paolo Banchero said it plain and simple in the post-game press conference. Like, yeah, these offensive problems we've had, they're nothing new. And there's plenty to say about that. I'm in agreement with a lot of them at this point. But our defense was able to hide those problems, and our defense isn't there anymore. What is the Magic's identity? Like, who is this team? They know who they're supposed to be. They know the things they have to do to be the team that they're supposed to be, but they're not doing those things. And as Jamal Mosley said after the game, as Paolo Banchero said after the game, I don't think there is division. Like I asked Desmond Bane straight up, it kind of sounds like you think guys are pulling in different directions. Is there a problem here? And he's like, no, like, guys aren't trying to do the wrong thing. The intentions are good, and I do believe that about this team. I don't think there is a split in the back. I don't think, like, there's frustration, things aren't working. There is healthy frustration that they can't figure this out. And look, it is on the coach, it is on the players, it is on everybody. Jamal Mosley is 100% right that it is on everybody to figure this out. It is on everybody to do their part to turn those words into action, to do the things that they know they must do better and to do them. And yeah, the coach has a big role to play in this. Jamal Mosley has to find a way to make this easier for everybody. You can't be stubborn and keep doing what isn't working. You have to find a way to make everyone better, and that isn't happening consistently enough. That is on Jamal Mosley. And, I've been pretty consistent in my position with Jamal Mosley. It does feel like we're reaching the expiration date. Something is not clicking. And look, Paolo Banchero probably said all that needed to be said. These offensive issues aren't new. These offensive problems aren't new. What's new is the Magic have lost their defensive identity. They've lost who they're supposed to be. They know it's a problem. Like, you notice, I'm not even talking about this game because it's the same thing over and over again. It's these long spouts of inconsistent defense. It's letting your offense affect your defensive effort and your defensive intensity. It's not using your defense to create your offense, because that's how this team is designed. Right or wrong, fair or not, that's how this team is designed. It's a flaw for sure that they can't operate and function independently on offense from their defense. It is 100% a flaw. It is 100% a flaw that they so desperately need Jalen Suggs to give them energy. And it does seem like Jalen Suggs is close. He was questionable. Watched him do a 3-on-3 workout, after the game, after shoot around this morning. I would not be shocked if he plays Saturday. Like, I almost expect him to play Saturday. I think he was pretty close to playing tonight. Franz Wagner, on the other hand, who did not play in this game, a late scratch because of a sore ankle. Because of a sore ankle, he could be out for a little bit. I don't think he aggravated, but it was apparently so sore that a tough dude like Franz Wagner had to pull himself out. You need your best players to win at the highest levels. Do not get me wrong on that. But your whole system can't be so reliant on those players. And look, Paolo should be enough on his own. I'm going to talk about Paolo here in a little bit because I do think it's important to challenge Paolo in this way. The Magic know what their issues are. They know what they are supposed to do and who they are supposed to be. They know that what Jamal Mosley is preaching works if they execute it. And right now, nobody's doing their job. The players aren't doing their job. The coaches aren't doing their job. Nobody is doing what's right. And that's how you lose by 30 to the Charlotte Hornets. And again, Charlotte has been a much better team. Over the last month and a half, over the last 6 to 8 weeks, the Charlotte Hornets are a better team than the Orlando Magic. Again, the Magic are treading water. They're 9-10 in their last 19 games. They've now exchanged 2 wins for 2 losses. So, you hope Saturday is another win, and the Magic are just treading water. They're not going anywhere. And that stagnation is a problem. Like, we all know it's a problem. We all know this team should be better and that they've been so inconsistent. And we hope that this means that, they're going to respond the right way Saturday. They've responded the right way so many times before. But at some point, you either become the team you're supposed to be or the floor drops out. And so at the end of the day, a game like this needs to be a challenge. So I'm going to spell that challenge out clearly, because it is a challenge of leadership. Who is going to lead this team to be the team they're supposed to be? We're going to get to that coming up here in just a moment. But first, today's episode of Locked On Magic is brought to you by our friends over at Game Time. During basketball season, there is nothing like being in the building. The energy, the crowd, that first big run that gets everyone on their feet. Fans want to be there for those moments, not stuck refreshing screens or guessing what tickets are really going to cost. That is where Game Time comes in. The Game Time app gives fans the advantage back, making it incredibly easy to score amazing tickets, fast, simple, and without the guesswork. Browsing the Game Time app is straightforward and intuitive. Finding tickets takes just a few taps. You can see the view from your seat for buying, making choosing tickets easy and confident, and their zone deals help unlock great seats at even better value. Take the guesswork out of buying NBA tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNBA, LOCKEDON NBA, that's 2 N's, for $20 off. We want to thank you again for making Locked On Magic your first listen of the day, and thank you for helping make the Locked On Podcast Network the #1 sports podcast ever. If you want to take your Locked On Magic fandom, hear my ramblings and my yellings, and yell at me for not being so overreactive, you can come check out the Everydayer Club. The Everydayer Club is your all access to Locked On Magic. You get linked to an ad-free audio feed available for all major podcasting apps, so you can get Locked On Magic without the ads. Plus, you get access to the Locked On Magic members-only Discord server. That gets you access directly to me. And during games, not Saturday's game, which I'll explain at the end of the show, except for Saturday's game, you'll get my 3 thoughts after every quarter for the rest of the season. Plus, plenty more to interact directly with me, help influence the show a little bit. I'm a big crowdsourcer. I listen to everything. I read all the comments. Like, you want to have my ear? Give me things that you want me to talk about, you want me to look at, you want me to be paid attention to. That's where you go, because unlike the Magic, I will turn that into action. I will turn that into, I'm going to look at this. You can check that out at lockedonmagic.supercast.com. Clearly, the Kia Center crowd is very excited about that. Go to lockedonmagic.supercast.com to learn more. This has been the thing that I have been most frustrated with on this Magic team. And look, I tried to ask this question after the game, to probably clumsy effect, because I'm not perfect, but this is a young team. They have not won anything serious. They've gone to the playoffs a few times. Like, they have big ambitions, but they've never been there. And I think one of the biggest challenges is learning how to become a leader and learning how to lead men, just to help other people, help your teammates, help your franchise, help yourself become the best version that you can be. And so I want to start by saying this, like, if these are the growing pains we have to go through to get to the best version of Paolo Banchero, the best version of Franz Wagner, the best version of Desmond Bane, the best version of Jalen Suggs, if this is the growing pains we have to go through and make these mistakes, like, look, this is the season to make those mistakes. I want to make this 100% clear, because I am very critical of Paolo. And again, I hope it's constructive criticism. I really do believe in him as a player. I want to make that as clear as I can make it. There are a lot of things right now that frustrate me about him. And I'm going to give some examples, because I saw a clear as day one today. these are all challenges to this team to be that best version of themselves, to be the team that it's going to take to win a championship, but it doesn't happen overnight. And it takes some trial and error. So again, I think a lot of what like Paolo's gone through this year is a 23-year-old trying to figure out the right way to lead, the right way to help others be better, take care of himself, do what his team needs, and understanding what that balance is. And look, Paolo hasn't gotten that balance right this year. Like, let's make that clear. But it's often the little things that drive me crazy. And I'm highlighting Paolo because he's the one in the game right now. Jalen Suggs is hurt. Franz Wagner's hurt. They're not in the game. Like, Desmond Bane's been up and down with it. I think Dez is certainly someone that's in their ear. I asked Desmond Bane directly, like, do you talk with Paolo, Franz, and Suggs and Jalen Suggs, like, about the leadership aspect and like how do you help this team be better and effectuate the goals and effectuate all the other things? And he said, yeah, like we have conversations throughout the year. It's not like they have some, like the whole idea of a players only meeting, it's a nice story. These guys talk all the time. Now, like, could the Magic use a players only meeting? Sure. How effective would it be? I don't know. Because at the end of the day, it's the same problem. It's turning words into action. It's saying we're going to do X, Y, and Z, and then going out and doing X, Y, and Z. We all know what the problems are. The Magic are not defending anywhere near the standard, their standard. They're defending nowhere near the level they should be defending at. Offensively, they're stagnant. They're not moving. There is, Mo Wagner said it in the locker room just after the game, there's just not a lot of swagger about this team. There's just not a lot of confidence. You can see that in the way that they're struggling to get into their sets. There's just not a belief. And look, is that coaching? Like, absolutely. Like, Jamal Mosley is a leader too and deserves some blame. And again, I think he spent a lot of his press conference today, go listen to it on OrlandoMagic.com, but I think he spent a lot of his press conference today challenging his team and publicly challenging his team, but also protecting them. Not challenging any single person, saying the whole team needs to do their job, including himself. And so, like, yes, that now he's raised the stakes. It's on Jamal Mosley to get more out of this team. Right now, this team is seeking that example. And again, like, the reason why I hit Paolo on this so hard is because he's the team's best player. He is the best player on this team. Or the most talented player. He should be the best player on this team. As good as Franz Wagner is, Paolo Banchero should be the best player on this team. And I will defend Paolo. I believe in what he can be. I think he is such a better player than so much of the people who don't watch him play every day suggest. But, like, look, this is by far Paolo's worst season. He's doing some things well. He's rebounding better. He's passing better. He's trying to do a lot of the right things. I do want to give him credit. He's trying to keep his teammates involved. But there's also this issue of to do the big things, you got to do the little things. There's a possession in the third quarter. Brandon Miller's on the free throw line. He misses a free throw. And Con Knipple races in and taps a rebound out. To a wide, I think it was Musa Diabate at the free throw line. Tips a rebound out to Brandon Miller for a three. Now, Brandon Miller missed a three, so you probably didn't even think about this play. But I saw that, and I was just like, there is no way Con Knipple, as good as he is, should beat you to a rebound off of missed free throw. You're 6'10", 250. As Jamal Mosley said after the game, hit somebody. And frankly, like, that play to me is indicative of the tone that Paolo Banchero has failed to set for this team, for this Magic team. And you want to know why the Magic aren't where they want to be? Like, look, when Franz and Jalen are playing, they'll hit people. Like, those guys don't know how to take a play off. Paolo Banchero, like, he's the leader on this team right now with all the guys out. It's on him to step up. And again, like, I think he's trying. I think there are ways that he is trying. But at the end of the day, he took 12 shots in this game. 12 total shots. Like, good. Like, you're efficient. 6 for 12. That's fine. 9 for 12 from the line. So it's a little bit more than 12 shots. Like, let's say that's 18. That's probably a little bit better. He scored 11 of his 23 points, I believe, in the third quarter. The Magic were down 21 at halftime. They never got closer than 19. They trailed by 30. He made a 3 at the buzzer to go 3 for 6 from the floor in the third quarter. Paolo Banchero is supposed to be the best player on the floor. I don't think I'm saying anything crazy. And if people aren't telling him this, like, that's a problem. Paolo Banchero is supposed to be the best player on the floor. Like, there should be like 10 total players better than him. Knipple was better tonight. LaMelo Ball was better tonight. Colin Sexton might have been better tonight. Brandon Miller was probably better tonight. You can't have your best players just get outclassed. And especially when you're searching for identity, when you're searching for something to latch onto, something that you can rely on. And again, they all say the right things. They all say, like, oh, we're not doing XYZ right. Okay. Action has to start at the top. Like, yeah, Jamal Mosley needs to do more to make things easier for his team. Maybe this team can't play defense the way that they played defense last year. So you adjust, and Jamal Mosley has not adjusted. It's not acceptable more than halfway through the season to just expect this team to click back into place. You got to adjust. And I give Jamal Mosley a lot of credit. He did adjust the offense a little bit. But that offense was still dependent on the defense. But same deal here. I expect a lot more from Paolo Banchero. I expect a lot more from Desmond Bane even. I expect a lot more from this team's best players to deliver. And right now the margin for error is small because of the injuries. And you're going to need more from your best players to fill in. That's what they're supposed to do. And it's not even about the scoring. Like, the scoring was bad tonight. It's not even about the scoring. And look, again, tonight, yeah. Tonight probably really exposed where Jamal Mosley's offense has always been weak and has always struggled. And it's why, again, it does feel like we've hit this expiration date and that this offseason is going to bring some type of change to the bench. I don't believe that we're at a crisis point where Jamal Mosley needs to be gone tomorrow. Like, I don't think we're there yet. I know a lot of fans do. But yeah, if things don't change in a dramatic fashion, it feels inevitable. It feels like we've hit this ceiling. It feels like we've hit this bar that the team cannot overcome. But it's still on the players to execute and turn words into action. And that is not happening. Whether that means they're not listening to Mosley anymore, which could be the case. I don't think it is, but it could be the case. They got to have the pride to do it. And frankly, that pride needs to start with their best player. It needs to start with Paolo. And it needs to start with Franz. And it needs to start with Jalen Suggs. And it needs to start with Desmond Bane. If you want to turn words into action, it starts with them. And if it doesn't happen with them, then we've got a problem. A big problem. A problem that a coaching change fixes a little bit, but doesn't fix entirely. Let's leave that big conversation at that. We're going to run through the final box score. We're going to rip the Band-Aid off, talk about that coming up here in just a moment. But first, today's episode of Locked On Magic is brought to you by friends over at FanDuel. Fridays already feel different during basketball season, and FanDuel is making them even better. Every Friday night before the games tip off, FanDuel gives fans a new way to kick off the weekend with NBA Happy Hour. NBA Happy Hour is your official pregame, a limited time window where special offers drop right inside the FanDuel app before the action starts. Fridays from 6 to 7:30 have become appointment viewing because there's always something new in the FanDuel app, like boosts, bonuses, and plenty of surprises. The timing is perfect right before the games, right before the weekend starts, and adds a little extra energy to an always packed Friday night of basketball. So before tip-off, check the FanDuel app and see what's dropping during NBA Happy Hour every Friday from 6 to 7:30 p.m. Eastern. A little basketball, a little action, and a whole lot of Friday energy. That is NBA Happy Hour, only on FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NBA. Let's run through the final box scores. The Orlando Magic fall to the Charlotte Hornets 124-97. Look, I still see a lot of people who are like, oh, the Charlotte Hornets are terrible. And look, their record's not bad. They started off so poorly. Like, that is a factor. But, like, let's be very, very clear. The Charlotte Hornets are, I believe, top 10 in the league in offensive rating. They have been playing some of their best basketball of the year right now. They're playing really, really well. Pretty much since December 7th. That's such a big turning point day for the Magic. Since December 7th, they have a better record than the Magic. So let's not pretend like the Hornets are some gimme win. There are no gimme wins with the way the Magic are playing right now. Whatever expectations you have for the Magic right now, they are not playing that way. And again, like, we don't know which Magic team we're going to get. Like, Saturday, honestly, Saturday against Cleveland, such a humongous game. The Magic will be a game back of the Cavs. Cavs play on Friday at home against Sacramento. And the Cavs are much the same as the Magic. Listen, I did a preview with Locked On Cavs, so you can check that out. You'll know within the first 5 minutes if the Magic have it. Like, you knew within the first 5 minutes today, like, oh, the Magic don't have it today. Like, they're going to be searching for it. They're falling further behind. Like, they got to find it. It's rough out there. And the Hornets just hit the Magic in the mouth and did not stop. 20 points from Brandon Miller. Made 2 of 7 threes. LaMelo Ball had 16 points on 4 for 8 threes, added 7 assists, 6 rebounds, 13 points for Con Knipple. He was only 1 for 6 from 3, so the Magic did okay there. But Con Knipple makes so many hustle plays. I know he's only 4 for 11, not the greatest Con Knipple game, but he just outworked the Magic in so many areas. He had 3 offensive rebounds. Charlotte only had 10 offensive rebounds, but they scored 16 second chance points. Orlando, only 2 second chance points. That is inexcusable. Second chance points is a big key for the Magic's success. Offensively, the Magic are we're going to get stops, get out in transition, and then we're going to pummel you on the glass. The Magic just aren't a physical team right now. And some of that is they're being called for fouls that they don't think they should be, but they have to be such a physical team. And again, they're not punching teams in the mouth. Charlotte gets 19 points from Colin Sexton off the bench, 13 for Tajon Salon, 10 for Ryan Kalkbrenner, including 9 rebounds for him. They forced 50 turnovers for 16 points, so they're not taking advantage of mistakes. Orlando has 12 turnovers, 14 points. So again, just the formula for Orlando to win just isn't there. And again, I thought early on, Charlotte was just making tough threes. And look, if it comes down to it, Charlotte making tough threes, there's nothing you can do about that. All you can do is contest shots. And slowly but surely, the Magic just stopped trusting their process. And again, this is all part of the same issue that we're talking about today. The Magic stopped trusting their process. They got to stop. Charlotte still gets a rebound. They reset, get this crazy banked in 3 from Brandon Miller on the first possession of the game. And you're just like, well, okay, if they're going to make that, you're just not going to win. And you see the heads droop. Then Orlando misses shots. They scored a 3-pointer on the first play. A great play to get Desmond Bane an open 3. Then they give up 11 straight points. They're down 11-3. And you can see with each miss, with each turnover, they're just either forcing something or not getting enough. Now, look, I think in a normal game, the Magic might be able to survive a little bit. Paolo was fine. Again, I'm critical of Paolo for intangible things. I'm not really critical for him and his production anymore. I think his production has generally been what the Magic are looking for. 23 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, 6 for 12 shooting, 2 for 4 from 3, 9 for 12 from line. Maybe 2 of those 3 misses, but generally, Paolo had a great game. The big complaint I have is he played really well in the third quarter. He got all the scoring he wanted in the third quarter, but the Magic didn't make up any ground. That is a problem, right? And that's not necessarily all on Paolo, but it's indicative of some larger issues. Desmond Bane was even fine. 21 points, 8 for 13 shooting, 3 for 5 from 3, 2 for 2 from the foul line. Again, the numbers for these guys aren't terrible. It's just they aren't getting stops. They weren't stringing stops together. And so all the offense doesn't matter because the Magic cannot score enough. That is not who they are. And they especially can't score enough when Anthony Block plays this poorly. 4 points, 1 for 11 shooting, 1 for 5 from 3. 2 assists. He's just not making an impact. And no player probably was forcing things and doing things kind of off script more than Anthony Black. And if Anthony Black has a decent game, that doesn't make up a 27-point deficit, but it probably keeps a 15-point deficit from getting to 25. Keeps it around 15, maybe drops it down to 10, and now you've got a game. Now you're not trying to press and push your way back in. It's really hard for the Magic to win when their top 3 players don't play well. And until the third quarter, when the game was kind of already decided, like Paolo wasn't even shooting that well. Paolo only had, again, 12 shots, 12 free throws, so maybe 18 real field goal attempts. But it felt like he was leaving stuff on the board. Like Desmond Bane didn't really start shooting well until the third quarter. And you're just trading baskets. It was 35-26 third quarter. So again, Orlando just cannot score enough. They couldn't score enough tonight. It really did get to a point where the Magic just need to play whoever has energy. And like, look, Jamal Mosley is searching for that every night. And that is a problem. Like he doesn't know who he can trust night to night. Noah Penda had some good energy early. Mo Wagner had some good energy late. Jett Howard came in the third quarter and brought some good energy. Certainly came in the fourth quarter, brought some good energy. As he has whenever he's coming in garbage time. He had 10 points. Noah Penda had 13. Mo Wagner had 14. You got to reward the guys who play with energy. And if you're not going to play with energy, you sit. Just plain and simple. Honestly, like, I don't think you go as far as to sit Paolo if he doesn't have energy, but if you don't play with energy, you sit. It just has to be that. And if that's the sword you got to die on, if that's the hill you need to die on, that's what you have to do. Like the Magic are searching for it right now, man. Like they're down bad. They don't know why. Like they know why. They don't know how to get out of it. And again, maybe it'll all click one day. Maybe it'll just happen. Maybe it truly is like they need Jalen Suggs, and Jalen Suggs is that important. Maybe it is they need Franz Wagner, and Franz Wagner is that important. They need all the pieces. They're Three Stooges syndrome. They're a good team when all of them are jammed into the doorway, but if you take one out, it all goes to hell. It all goes to the mess. It's just really bad, man. And it's a simple thing of playing with confidence, executing the offense, whatever limitations this offense has, executing it, trusting it, defending at any decent level. Like I'm just begging for decent at this point because, you look at the advanced stats, like Charlotte had a 130.5 defensive rating. Orlando had an offensive rating. Orlando was only 102.1. That now is 14 games with a defensive rating worse than 120 points per 100 possessions. Magic only had 8 last year. So like the defense this isn't last year's defense. The defense isn't there. This is an average defense, and you don't know whether it's going to be good or bad. The offense is stringing from average to absolutely abysmal. The Magic just have to be better. Like, I'm sorry. There's just no other way to say it. The Magic just have to be better. And they're not good enough right now. Like it's not rocket science. It's your best players need to play better. They need to bring everyone up with them. You got to execute and trust your teammates, trust each other. The only way out is through. The only way out is together. They got to find their way, and they got to find their defense and find who they are. And if they don't, nights like this are going to keep happening. And certainly nights like this suggest that there's something structurally wrong that needs changing perhaps more immediately than this team hopes. The Charlotte Hornets defeat the Orlando Magic 124-97. Orlando is back in action Saturday here at the Kia Center in a massive game against the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Orlando Magic absolutely must at least split these games with the Cavs. Cleveland is playing in Cleveland against Sacramento on Friday. So another rest advantage game for the Magic if they can hopefully get themselves straight and right. Getting this one at home would be huge. Sweeping the Cavs on Monday, if you want to think that far ahead, would be even bigger. But you got to get one before you get two, and the Magic just need to feel some positivity because it's been a rough go here for the last few months. But that's going to do it for me today. I want to thank you all again for listening to today's episode of Locked On Magic. Of course, find me on Twitter at @PhilipRR_OMD and on Blue Sky at PhilipRR. You can subscribe to the podcast at Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn, Himalaya, Google Play, Spotify, Odyssey, and all the fun places on podcast to your podcast-enabled listening device. You can check us out on YouTube as well. Just search for Locked On Magic. For the latest on the Orlando Magic, Be sure to check out OrlandoMagicDaily.com. You can find us on Twitter at OMagicDaily. And for even more Orlando Magic content, be sure to check out my Patreon page, the Orlando Magic Hub, at patreon.com/Orlando Magic Hub. I post a Patreon exclusive article or a subscriber exclusive article on my Patreon page every Monday through Friday, including some thoughts about the league in general. And you get access to the Patreon Discord server, which is different than the Everydayer Club Discord server. Only pay for one. You can do what you want. But check that out as well. The Everydayer Club can be found at lockedonmagic.supercast.com. The Patreon page is patreon.com/Orlando Magic Hub. As always, however you choose to support, thank you for your support. That's going to do it for me today, though. I want to thank you all again for listening to today's episode of Locked On Magic. We will be back Sunday afternoon, Sunday early evening. I will not be at the Magic game on Saturday, as big as it is. I'm hyping it up. I'm not even going to be there. My sister's getting married this weekend, so congratulations to Jackie and Brittany on their wedding. I will be watching that game after the ceremony, after we're done talking with family. It's going to be a little bit of a late night for me. We'll chat. We'll chat about the Magic. Then we'll chat about the Magic Sunday afternoon. We'll recap that game Sunday afternoon, so you won't hear from me immediately after the game like I have been doing this season. So I apologize for that, but family comes first. I got to support my sister. So congrats to Jackie and Brittany once again. And we will see you all Sunday afternoon for our next episode of Locked On Magic. Until then, for Orlando Magic Daily and Locked On Magic, this has been Philip Rossman-Reich. We'll see you all again next time for another episode of Locked On Magic.